Ed Sheeran, Hodinkee. Let's react. Let's go.
Ed Sheeran, let me ask you another question. Here's some lightning round questions. If you could get any watch brand tattooed on you.
Straight away, Roger Smith. Roger Smith is gorgeous. I love it.
A watch tattooed here, almost. And like, I'm known for my
wearing?
tattoos. I know this. Well, I mean, some of them.
He's wearing Royal Oak. What is his watch collection? It's amazing. Oh my god, this video is gonna be cool.
Were a bit weird, but yeah, I almost got a watch.
What
tattooed.
watch would you have gotten?
It was that. I almost got that tattooed.
Would it have been photo, real, portrait?
I don't know.
Sorry, but that's so beeping stupid. He was gonna get a Patek Philippe moon phase, like Nautilus tattooed on. That's dumb. That's dumb. Well, though, to be honest, he has ketchup tattooed on him. So, I mean, it's less dumb than ketchup, so I'll give that to him.
It would have been f***ing dreadful, but
How's my dancing, Tez?
stunning.
Thank you. So, obviously it's hosted by John Mayer, but do you reckon me and Ed have similar hair in this video? Let's get it under control.
We've been lucky enough to cross paths in New York City at the famous Hit Factory. It sees us in the studio today, not making music this time, but going through
What's the
some
Hit
of
Factory?
Ed's brilliant collection, a piece at a time.
He
This
has a
represents
divine...
Not your entire collection, but the pieces that I think explain your POV on collecting.
Sorry, but that Patek Philippe World Timer it just showed, I'm not gonna... That was stunning.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, totally. These are like some from the start, some from the middle, and some really, really recent ones.
That Roger Smith, that dial is stunning. Sorry, I'm speechless. That watch is beautiful. I want it. Roger Smith was, of course, the apprentice of, I think it was George Daniels, and he was the creator of the Omega Coaxial escapement. Incredible British watchmaker. Yeah. Oh my... I'm very jealous of Ed.
But yeah, it's like more of an overview.
Yeah.
That was all I wore for up until like my second tour. Up until I was actually making money from music, that was all that I wore.
So the first record's out, A-Team is a hit, and you're wearing the toy watch.
Yeah. I didn't get a watch until I did A-Team, I did my first tour, and then the album came out, and then I did my next tour, and it was after that, it was that first Christmas that I bought a watch, and I was only ever intending to buy one watch.
I was just going to ask, did it? Oh, and we all do. We all think that's going to be it. So you get this, you wear it for a while. Oh.
Watch collecting is a disease. It's always one more watch. Just one more. One more. That's very relatable from Ed there and John. Yeah, just one more watch. That's why we're all watch nerds. 'Cause all I need, Terry, in my life is one more watch. One more watch, and I'll be happy. And I'll be so happy. But no, never works out.
What's the next watch you see that you go, huh?
Do you know, it was, I was out in a place called Marbella in Spain with my friend Jamal as well, who I bought that with, and we were just around, I didn't really know what the watches were, but we were around a lot of guys that were wearing like rose gold offshores and rose gold big bands, and that was like, and I remember seeing...
And he was like, oh my god, it's a Hublot, it must be great. And I don't like the offshore. It's like the most Hublot-esque AP, I guess. I still like the offshore, I guess, because it's an AP, but it's not for me. It's not a very me design.
Seeing them and being like, I never even knew that watches could, I knew like, these kind of watches, G-Shocks, Casios, Swatches, and then Rolex, and then I was sort of like, that's it.
That's right.
I remember hanging out with a DJ.
That's what most people think. Genuinely, that's what most people think, isn't it? Like, you tell people, yeah, Rolex isn't even... It's like a gateway into the luxury watch market. And most people are like, what? There's more expensive watches than Rolex? And you sort of blow their mind.
Jay once who had a watch that he said it cost like a certain amount, and I was like, you spend that on watches? Okay, man. Like, and so I just assumed it was this and then Rolex. And then I saw all these watches around, and I was like, what are these? And they were like, oh, this is a AP or this is a Hublot or whatever. And so that was when I was like, oh, maybe that's, if I'm going to get a watch, something like that. So it's not a Rolex in your face.
Yes.
Like, everyone knows what a Rolex is. So.
Especially when you're coming up and you're...
Yes. Get an AP, famously not in your face. Wow. A rose gold AP is famously discreet, compared with like a steel Submariner. Yeah. Great logic there.
Playing music and you're just in that beginning phase of introducing yourself to the world. I had the first real sort of mechanical watch that I bought was an Explorer 2. And I hadn't even played on national television yet. And I remember my manager, I was playing Conan O'Brien, and my manager in the green room said, take that watch off. Please wear something different. Yeah. Because you're so early in your career to be wearing a Rolex, it doesn't send.
And is that why you lent into IWC then? Because it was just a bit more...
It wasn't for that reason. But I remember I wore his G-Shock on the very first appearance, and then I switched back to a Rolex. And there was this sense of like, oh, Rolexes are... At that time, it was Rolexes are for people who are from this whole other walk of life, and it's erudite, and it's upper crust, and you can't be wearing a Rolex with a hoodie playing music when you're introducing yourself to the world. And maybe he was right, but
was he?
As we figured out, you actually really can go on stage.
I think it's very much changed as well. Like when I first started buying watches, and I would say to my accountants, like, I would love to buy this watch. Every single time they were like,
that's right.
Okay. Whereas now it's like, I read an article on You where they said John Mayer has blown half his fortune on watches.
CNBC did an article that says John Mayer blew a quarter or a third of his earnings on watches. And that very outlet would go on to write stories about the incredible investment potential of watches. And
yeah, imagine saying, oh, you've blown a quarter of your net worth buying this house. It's like, no, it's an investment. The sort of watches these people are buying are not going to lose a beep ton of value, are they, Tez? Like, I'm sorry, but you buy a ceramic AP Royal Oak, it's going to increase in value. It's not blowing your fortune. It's a store of wealth. What's 70 grand in the bank going to do? Sure, you can invest it in other things, but you just leave it in the bank and it's going to be eaten away by inflation. So, might as well get a watch.
Well, he bought exactly the same one. There's like 100 of them, and they're all numbered, and we bought them in Paris together. And, you know, it's the thing that I've sort of fell into love with.
I'm sorry, but they call this watch the Skull Bang? That sounds awful. Like, they might as well have just called it the I can't say that. Like, it's... do you understand me? I'm sure they felt like they were skull banging you when you bought it as well.
With mechanical watches with this watch, and I find it like... People have this thing about Hublot, and I get it to a point, like, it's not the same as certain other brands, but for me, that is a great watch. I've worn that on maybe 100 shows, and I love it.
But that's the sign of a great collector, right? There's two ways to look at a watch. First way is to look at it and ask yourself, do I like it? Second way, and I think is the more popular way, unfortunately, is to look at it and then to sort of consult the larger cultural weather report on the watch. Well, what does the world think of that? And then what would that mean for me? And what makes you such a great collector, and I think a great artist in person, is you look at something and your relationship is between you and that thing. And you really are so good about not contaminating your point of view.
I do appreciate that, but also... It's called the Skull Bang. That ruins the entire watch for me. It could be the most beautiful watch in the world, and they called it the Skull Beep. Right. It sounds like you're beeping someone's mouth. I'm sorry, but it does. No. Okay, we're skipping this. I don't want to hear any more about this. Right. Patek Philippe, we're at 11:18. Okay? Bloody skull bang. God.
Nice big clip.
I can't believe it actually said skull bang on the back in really big letters as well.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Very fun.
Like, they might as well just call it a skull fuck. I'm not expecting that to be in, that's why I'm swearing. I'm expecting
They're a
this to be...
shit watch company, that's why. All they want is that cash.
I just can't believe... They might as well get a watch and call it the Raw Dog. Like... And just print it in massive letters on the back. This is our new watch. It's called the Arse to Mouth. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
It's a bracelet version of the 5726 that is just
beautiful.
The annual calendar.
just black. It's just
yeah.
black, and I get it with
I do like
its face changed for every album. So I get George does me a yellow one for Subtract that I can then swap out with a red one for Equals, and it's just something that I just swap in and out. I feel like I've got watches that are respectful to being a watch collector and being like, these are the classics, but also like sometimes you want to spray paint your car.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's fine.
That is fine. As long as he keeps the original parts. And like... At the end of the day, he's not destroying a watch. He's changing the face, he's changing the dial so that he can express a bit more personality. He's not drilling holes into the watch. And as long as he's still got the original dial so it can be swapped back and made original, don't have an issue. Some of them probably look god-awful with how he was describing them, like a bright red dial on a Patek Philippe annual calendar. Doesn't appeal to me, but you do you, boo.
Okay, so on this table,
That case back's beautiful.
pick out the one that you think flies most under the radar.
We're at 12:07. I love that micro rotor. That's beautiful. Look at that guilloche on the micro rotor. Solid. Oh.
And is also one of the most important watches. What could you still, to this day, kind of get away with wearing without someone sort of identifying it as...
Do you know, weirdly, and it is there's a couple. I mean, there's a Tudor here that yes, but this one flies the most under the radar because it just looks like a watch.
Yeah.
Even though it is it's a piece unique.
That's what's interesting about it. Tell people about what's unique about this world time.
So this, I think, I'm going to say this a few times about watches, about like what's my favourite watch or not, but this I think is the coolest watch that I own.
That is stunning. That central part of the dial with that like geometric guilloche face thingy is beautiful. And he said it's a piece unique, so you gotta respect it. That is lovely.
I got a couple of piece uniques through Patek, and I thought that this would be too much of an ask because I didn't know how they were with like real estate on world times. Mm-hmm. My hometown is called Framlingham. There's about 2,000 people that live there. I grew up there. It's what the song Castle on the Hill is about. And it's just a tiny town. There's not much that goes on there. We've got a kebab shop. We've got like one cafe.
There is indeed a castle on the hill. So, good name for the song, Eddie.
We've got a couple of pubs, but it's not like Singapore going on there or Doha or whatever. So I asked if they could.
It's not Singapore going on.
Because that's my home, and wherever I was in the world, I could click it round, and I could always see what time.
Oh, I did not actually notice that. Rather than London at the central point, it's got Framlingham as the central time zone. I didn't even notice that. That's pretty cool, though. Do you reckon I should get one and get Swindon? Yeah, Swindon! Really, bring down the class of that watch. Can you imagine someone from like Staines getting stains put across it?
Grimsby. Scunthorpe.
Slough.
Luton.
Oh my god. Do you reckon you can just change all of the names for like the correct time zone, but just like really weird piece of poo towns? Like that would be hilarious.
Traveling, basically. And yeah, so this one would fly under the radar more.
Yeah, and means so much to you. And
Yeah.
the other thing is, this is such a great sort of header for this whole conversation of you collecting these watches purely from the heart. Because
No one can own this watch but me.
and I also love, and I think you can see this in the photo up close, it's pretty well worn. I mean, white ceramic
That is well
links
worn.
tend to sort of grab onto fibers of shirts, and so in between the cracks, it's not dirt, it kind of pulls in the fibers of your
Yeah.
shirt, but I actually think there's scratches on it and little
I mean, I wear it a lot.
chips, sort of.
I wear it a lot. It's
Is it chipped in a couple of places, or is it
yeah,
just
probably.
some scratches?
It's all scratched,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That looks a
so
bit-
it basically
Grim, actually.
incorporates all the colours of the album. So there's like light blue, orange, yellow, red,
Yeah.
green, and then on the 28 and 17, they're marked out as red, and those are my daughter's birthdays. And do you know, it's quite a loud.
That's quite cool, actually. The fact that this is also a piece unique for him. He's got so much money. Oh, what a beep.
Quite a loud watch. What I like about the white ceramics is they just stand out and they're so clean. It's like
Yeah.
white
They do
watches
stand
don't
out.
usually remain that clean.
That's
And
right.
these just are just
Right, because they're non-porous and you could just throw them under the faucet.
Yeah.
I saw you at your stadium show, and it was
just stands out.
it
doesn't
stands out. And I also wondered, what do the people in this crowd think that is? Are you aware that Instagram is always tracking what you're wearing, and do you pay attention?
Every now and then, I'm intrigued when something like that pops up. What they think, or like I was intrigued that people. I was like, oh, it's mad that they think this is an Edinburgh boutique
Right.
thing. I find that intriguing, but I went such a deep dive into it that I'm now like wearing. I've been wearing that quite a
That's
lot.
where
now,
we're at.
You know, I've been.
That's where we're at. It is a yellow G-Shock that I'd love you to be the first to explain to people what it is.
So you called me. I think it was.
Obviously, this watch has now been released to the public. It is a limited edition Ed Sheeran G-Shock. So get your order in, Terry. I know you're going to be getting one, aren't you? Not quite nice, actually quite a nice watch. Like, I wouldn't get one. It's not really my colour, but it's cool.
Second day of my tour. Obviously, you've been making with Hodinkee these G-Shocks, which I've been wearing a lot as well. I fucking love them. And you said I would love to do some with some friends, and I would love for you to be the first friends to do it with. And I said, great. I mean, my idea was to do my album, and I thought we would go with Subtract. And this is the 6900 G-Shock Subtract.
By Ed Sheeran?
And yeah, it's loud. Do you know what I find? It's very similar to this. It's loud. It sticks out.
Ah, yes, the G-Shock. The bright yellow G-Shock. Famously similar to the white ceramic AP Royal Oak. Yes. He's picked them both up. Yeah, so similar. So similar. Similar price point, too. Obviously. I mean, I get what he's saying. They're both loud. And G-Shocks do sometimes resemble APs. But not that one. I'm sorry, not that one. Like, he's a bit dumb.
Out, and that's why I love wearing these two for the shows. This is very much Subtract. This is very much the math.
That's fair. You do want to wear a loud
And-
watch at a show.
You know, I would say that this gets more wear out and about than anything else because I know that if I lose this,
This
I
is
can get another one. I'm very careful of. I get asked to do this for this watch and this for this watch, or judge this for this watch, and I'm very careful of being like I don't want to like. Aside from just wear brands that I like, I don't want to align.
You want to be watch agnostic.
Yeah.
And you want to be a lover of all.
I like that. Watch watch agnostic. Like, he's not loving one brand. I don't like those artists and stuff. You look at their watch collection, it's like, yes, I have every single Rolex you can imagine. Just got them all. That's what Mark Wahlberg's collection's like. It's like, I've got every Rolex, and I've got every Patek. Or Kevin Hart's collection is like, yes, I just have every single AP I could get my hands on. They just gobble them up. I do respect Ed's collection because he's gone AP and Patek, and he's even got a Lange, and he's got a Tudor. He's got things that he just likes, and he's even got the Hublot in there. So he's even got he has a nice range. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just gonna shut up. Back to the video.
Odysseus. It's like I never liked steel bracelet ever. I was always I think that's why I always went
Why not?
black rubber bracelet. That's why I liked Hublot. That's why I liked this. I just liked.
I never liked steel bracelets, and he's wearing a steel bracelet AP as well. So
like something. I think pale skin tattoos, whatever. But the older I've got, the more I've got into steel bracelets, and I love that each brand has their own blue face steel bracelet thing.
And these are hard to get. I don't think they're making a lot of those. And
the Odysseus, it's a grail watch for me, actually. I love that watch to bits, and they are so hard to get. What is amazing about this watch is Lange took the concept of an integrated bracelet steel sports watch, and they just went, we can make this ridiculously complicated. It's got a day and date with incredibly over-engineered pushers. It's stunning, and a small seconds and stuff. And just, it's a normal integrated bracelet sports watch. In fact, the pushers for the day date function are actually hidden as the crown protector. It's mental. It's beautiful.
And they could move all their production into that and sell a bunch of them. And
but this was, I mean, I wore this for pretty much the entirety of the pandemic. I love this one. I basically
that case back, and I believe that's a solid platinum rotorweight as well. It's just Lange is just such a god tier watch brand. I love them so much.
I'd gone to play in Germany, and I bought a Zeitwerk, and I loved the digital look of a Zeitwerk. And then when they brought these out, I was just like, there's something, I know Patek do it now, but there's something in the resizing of it with the just pressing a button, and you've had a bit to drink the night before, your skin's a bit puffy, and you put on a watch and it can fit perfectly.
that has an adjuster.
Yeah, I think this was the first big watch brand to do it. I think that I'd never seen this before.
We're getting a nod from the judge.
One of the best.
Yeah. Have you, mate, try it on.
It's so cool. You just press the Lange logo on the bracelet and it adjusts. And that's whilst wearing it. You don't have to take it off to adjust it. Rolex's system, you have to take off to adjust it. It's just super cool.
I think I'm gonna make you a Lange guy by the end of this.
So this is
Not gonna lie, the more I'm watching this video, the more I'm respecting Ed and his watch collection. So
this is what I wanted to say about a watch like this. So this many years into my collecting, with so much of sort of a vertical approach to collecting, I find it difficult to get into a brand I have not owned.
But you are going into FP Journe.
I am going into FP Journe.
good.
It's the first new brand I think I've bought in 10 years. I could be wrong. Ben knows probably better than I do. I don't think I've bought... I mean, I did buy a Vacheron Heritage 222.
Oh yes, we are talking about some real grail watches now. The 222 is beautiful. I love that watch.
Which made me buy an original steel 222. I just bought an original steel 222. But with so much in my collection already, I don't even know what it's worth. I don't even know if someone's... What's a Facebook Tudor?
There was one that sold like 2 months ago.
Did it really?
Yeah, I didn't see what it went for, but there was one out.
There've been a couple of these that have sold.
Oh, have you seen these sell? Are you upset that any of them sold?
No, because the pandemic happened and touring stopped. So like, who am I to say?
Right.
I was actually really sad when I saw it. Not like sad, like how dare you, but I was really sad that, obviously no one toured for 18 months or whatever, and it's people's livelihoods. And I guess kind of.
So he obviously gave these watches to members of the crew for the tour, and people were forced to sell them. because of the pandemic and everything. There was no touring, so people were out of work, and he was like, yeah, he's not upset that these people sold these watches, which is good. I like that. A watch is a perfect present in any situation. I genuinely believe that, depending on how much money you have.
Happy that they had something to
Right.
sell.
Do
But
you know what they went for?
yeah, like 30 grand or something like that. Yeah, pretty.
Amazing.
Yeah.
No wonder they bloody sold them. It's a Tudor. Christ, you can sell that watch, get the same watch back without the Divide logo on it for like 3.5 grand, and you've just made 26.5 grand. Wow. Yeah, I would sell it. Like, thanks, Ed. Thanks. Chrono 24. What did you guys think of Ed Sheeran's watch collection? We skipped a couple. It's a very long video. We've been sat here for over an hour. I skipped a large part of this video as well, because otherwise we'd be sat here for like 3 hours with the amount I was stopping and stuff. Do you like his collection? If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed watching me watch a video, that's pretty much what happened. Give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Click that bell icon. We've got cool videos on the way. So, cheers, my dears. And watch yourselves.